of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So tonight's review is titled A Shortcut to Distinction, and it is written by Lowell Thomas as a biography, yes, of Dale Carnegie. It is very important that we actually understand the man that we have been reading about, who has written awesome books about public speaking, speaking confidently, a man who has made so many men and women across different continents to go from shy and timid to confident public speakers. And this book opens up with a story of a public speaking class that Dale Carnegie held in New York, right, sometime ago in 1935. And the ballroom of this hotel somewhere in New York, Hotel Pennsylvania, was filled to the brim. In fact, all the seats were taken because men were hungry to come and learn from him. They had seen on a newspaper advert, learn to speak effectively, prepare for leadership, and they trooped in. These were men and women who were in various businesses, executives, different organizations, not poor people at all, but who longed to know how to speak effectively. That is what we have been learning so far since we started reading and reviewing this book. And tonight is the final. We're actually done with the review, but we just want to understand how important it is and how far people are willing to go to learn how to speak confidently. Because if you have read this Shortcut to Distinction, you will discover that the shortcut to distinction that is mentioned in this book is learning how to speak. It is the art of speaking, right? A survey was conducted several years ago to find out what adults really want to study. That is an important question. So the University of Chicago, the American Association for Adult Education, and the United YMCA schools made this survey over a 2-year period, and they discovered that people were interested in health, and they were also interested in developing skill in human relationships. They want to learn the technique of getting along with people and influencing people. That was what they wanted. So people who had gone to school to study different courses, they found that those courses would not really be effective if they did not know how to speak with people, if they did not know how to influence people. Imagine you doing business and you don't know how to convince people, you don't know how to sell, you don't know how to win people over to your side. But we're so fortunate that we have been learning all of this from this book, right? So this is very important. People paid to learn this from Dale Carnegie. There was a time he organized another conference like this, and 15,000 people paid to listen to Dale Carnegie. He had been doing it for so many years. In fact, one of the men, because during that conference that he organized in UK, where there was 22,500 people, some men were called to the front, people who had attended his courses before, to come and speak. They were given 75 seconds to speak, and one of them was Patrick. Patrick had only spent like 4 years in school, so he had inferiority complex. He went to America to become a mechanic, but after a while he started selling trucks, and then he lacked the confidence to speak to people. Imagine you wanting to sell something and you don't know how to speak to anybody. He will go to companies and he will pace in front of their doors or building for like 15 minutes or 15 times, going back and forth until he eventually summons the courage to go in there and speak to somebody. And this went on for a long time until he came across this course. In fact, he didn't want to go, but his wife insisted that he must go. And then he went. Now, as of the time that this book was written, Patrick had become a confident speaker. There was another man who was so shy and timid until one time he was given like an incorrect tax. Before then, he would just swallow it up and fume and complain privately. But this time, because he had been attending the course, he actually went to the tax office, and then he blew things out of proportion, and the people in his community were so happy that they elected him as their leader. So many people, contested for that post, and he was the one that was selected. There were 96 candidates, but they chose him because they were like, yeah, this guy can speak, he can represent us. So that is how important it is to speak. So the story of this man that I just told you proves that leadership gravitates to the person who can talk. Even if you are shy, learn to talk, learn to express yourself. Even before I read this book, I have learned this because I have seen it play out over and over. There are people who have fantastic ideas. They are brilliant, they are intelligent, but they don't know how to talk. So every good thing that they know perishes inside of them. And then they will see people who are not as half as intelligent as they are, not even 1/4 intelligence. But because they are bold, they can speak. They make people like them. They can win people over to their own way of thinking. So what happens? They go ahead to be in position. There was a guy who became the president of, is it an association or something? Just because he could speak. Just because people can see that leadership trait. If you cannot speak and express yourself, it is very difficult that people will want you to be their leader. So the shortcut to distinction, if you want to be distinct from other people, know how to express yourself. And you can start learning it. The biography of Dale Carnegie is written here. He was from a very poor family. He could not even attend school. His family could not attend education. They were living on a farm. But before they knew it, everything went down the drain. The crops, the animals that they were tending to, and they had to move to another farm. Luckily for him, when his family became sick with discouragement, they sold everything and bought another farm near the State Teachers College in Warrensburg, Missouri. And then that was when he would now be riding, what was he even riding to school? Horseback, to school. He could not even afford what others were affording. He was so ashamed of himself. He couldn't wear proper clothes. He couldn't afford textbooks. He couldn't do so many things. He would have to wake up like 3 a.m. because the young pigs would die during the bitter cold season. So he had to wake up by 3 a.m. He would put them in baskets, then take them to their mother to be nursed, and he would stay there until they were done nursing. Imagine a boy, he was just a teenager, waking up at 3 a.m. And then because his family was so poor, before he even goes to bed at midnight, he would have to read by the fire, read books, until his eyes were blood and sore. Right. He would milk the cows. He would do hard work. Yet he managed to go to school. And it was in school that he found this shortcut to distinction that, it is people who can speak that actually own the world, right? So he started speaking. He started debating. He started talking. But then he met with defeat upon defeat. But then he would practice. He would rehearse. That is one secret that I have learned. I remember when I wanted to defend my proposal, I learned it. He learned it. He became a public speaker at a university. He started teaching business people, and boom, that is it. Now he has traveled various continents in the world, right? Teaching people, business people who knew how to do business, but they did not know how to convince people. They didn't know how to talk, right? That is how important it is to know how to win friends and influence people. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, how sharp you are, you must learn how to express yourself. Emma, what is it now? What is it? Joy, leave him. It's okay. So that is it. Very, very important. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of this review. Don't forget to like this video, share your comments, and please subscribe to this channel in case you're yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady, and on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. Yes, we'll be starting another book on Monday. Don't forget our accountability session tomorrow. Until then, be intentional. Bye-bye. You're welcome.